What's up, everyone? It's Matt Mrozek. This will be the next work in progress on the the next generation vinyl kits from Geometric. So yesterday we spent the day doing Geordie LaForge's portrait, which turned out really nice, and the Worf portrait, I guess, and his is awesome. So out of these 4 kits, the 2 best sculpts are Worf and Data. LaForge is pretty close. Riker's pretty close too, but I think he looks a little too young. And I think I mentioned this in the video yesterday, and talking to George Stevenson when they were working with Jonathan Franks on the sculpt, he wanted them to go with a little younger look. So that's why he looks a little too young in my opinion. But I think with paint and making the beard maybe a little older looking, we can make him look a little bit older. So today we're going to work on getting, also I wanted to mention, after I got done the portraits yesterday, I started to work on the tricorder, and I got as far as base coating it and starting to paint some of the details, and I went to go seal it between one of my steps, and the paint crazed, it cracked. So I had to strip it, and I'm starting over, which is unfortunate because I put a lot of time in getting it as far as I did. So so far I've got the base color on, and now I'm seeing a couple little things I need to probably fix before I go any further. So the tricorder is going to take an extreme amount of time, unfortunately, because it's just so damn detailed. It's a great sculpt. It's very accurate to what they used on screen. But today I'm going to work on getting Data and Riker's portraits done. And the first one I'm going to do is Data. So looking at reference photos, his skin tone's pretty much, again, depending on which photo I look at online, it's pretty much white. And it's got a little shimmer to it, and his eyes are yellow. Well, his eyes are pretty much yellow. Again, depending on which photo I look at, there isn't really a good neutral photo of his skin tone. Some I see his skin tone looks green, some it looks pink, but I think for the most part, it's kind of white with a shimmer to it. So I'm trying to find something that has him in kind of studio lighting, not like on set. Like I found one here where it's like a headshot they did for maybe archival purposes, but it's got a red tinge to it. So I don't like that. This might be the most. Here's a good one. Okay, so I'm going to go with kind of this one right here. I think that's the most accurate. And the way I'm telling as far as lighting goes is I'm looking at the color of his uniform. That lighting looks pretty neutral, so I think we can go with that. And him being an android, there's not a lot of shading that's going on in his skin, but we're going to add some just so there's some definition in his skin. So I think what I'm going to do, I have to think about what colors to use on him. I need to also get a close-up of his hands to look at his fingernails, but what color should I use? It's kind of, it's not real cool. It's a little bit on the warm side. I do have some of these garage kits iridescent color. So like I have an iridescent white, which might be what I need to do. Put this on top of another color. So I got to think here for a second. What color should I mise? It's not just white. It's got a little tinge of something to it, but it's hard to tell what that is. I'm thinking I should maybe go turn my airbrush on. I just gotta play around here. So what's on him right now is GarageKits.us number semi-transparent warm gray number 2, I think. But it's not just gray. I think I need to add a drop. It's not yellow. God dang, it's so hard to tell what color that is. Let's just play around here. This is number 3, gray, semi-transparent gray number 3. This may be, let's see what this does. This may be the color that's on there right now. Yeah, it is. Let's get a coat of this on, even coat. I don't know about super even coat on this. I just kind of sprayed some of this on earlier, kind of as a primer to check my prep work. I'm just airbrushing some of this on. Actually, I want to move Worf and Geordi out of the way so I don't spray them on accident. That would be terrible. That would be bad. Get those guys out of the way. And I'm going to get Geordi's hand out of the way. Okay, so this is semi-transparent warm gray number 3 from GarageKits.us. I'm spraying on right now. I'm going to see what this iridescent white does. This might, between these iridescent colors, I might be able to get the look I want. Red, green. Because this skin does have a shimmer to it. It's got a little bit of metallic in it. If you watch the show. Orange and blue. What else I got? Metallic colors. Silver. Let's see what iridescent white does. Okay, so this is GarageKits.us iridescent white. It's basically kind of like a pearl. Okay, so I missed under the chin there with the first color. So let's see what this does. I'll probably go back over it with the. So this might. Okay, so this is actually kind of getting me kind of close to what I want. Now the trick is I need to do some shading on them. So what I might do, I'm playing with colors right now. What I might do is paint him like he's a human and then mist on this iridescent white on top. And that might get me what I need. It's kind of what I'm thinking I gotta do. Paint him in like a normal skin tone. And then spray this on top because that's kind of close. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna seal this. I'm gonna do some just normal skin tones on them. And then mist on the iridescent white because that iridescent white's like a transparent, and it'll show the shading and stuff underneath. I'll probably pump up the shading a little bit again just because of the scale, make it a little more punchy than he is, like on the show. It just means like adding some more shadows to his forehead and the wrinkles and stuff like that, and the eye sockets. So let me get this. I'm gonna clean out my airbrush real quick. Oh, I know what I could do. I could, I just had a aha moment. So, pale flesh, bronze flesh. I really need to make a paint order. Pale flesh. I'm thinking if I mix in the iridescent white with the flesh tone, it might give me a good starting point. What's my garage? Just my normal. I guess I'm out of it. Yeah, I need to make a paint order big time. So I got this. So my base coat with this flesh tone mixed in with the iridescent white, that can be my base coat, my base skin tone, I think. And then I can do the shading on top of that and then mist on this base coat again. I thought data would be easy one to do, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Okay, so I got some of this pale flesh. We're going to mix in some iridescent white. Just lightly build it up. Bye, babe. Love you. This might be exactly what I needed to do.
Have the best day ever, baby. I love you.
Yeah, this is looking pretty damn good, actually. So I'm going to mist this on. I'm going to build this up to mix some more of this paint up. It's actually looking pretty good. So I'm going to mix up a bunch of this. Yeah, so I'm going to continue to do this. I'm just going to build this up slowly, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's kind of base coated. Okay, so I base coated that. I sealed it. Now I'm going to go in and I'm kind of do what I said. I'm going to add some skin tones with some shading. I was going to keep it very light. So what I have mixed up on my palette here is I have some flesh shadow, some basic flesh, and sunny flesh, and I kind of got this light skin tone. And just what I did before on the other guys, I'm just going in and adding shadows. And again, this is going to be pretty light because he's a really pale figure, but this will give me some definition and stuff in his face and hands. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of this because it's the same process as I did yesterday with Jordy and Worf. It's just different colors. So just keeping it real light, and then we'll mist on some of that base flesh tone again to kind of blend it in a little bit. I may add a little deeper shadow like in the eye sockets and stuff on him, but I think it's going to be pretty light overall. So I'm gonna do this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so this is where we are right now. Let me bring down my exposure. Let's bring it up here a little bit. Let's see what I got. It's looking a little freaky right now. That's all right. So I went in and I added another layer of shadow. I just added more shadow flesh to my mix and just darkened the shadows down a little bit. It's really hard to see in here because he's getting all blown out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with, I haven't done the hands yet, but I'll do those here in a minute. We're going to go with straight, what is this? This is called light flesh tone. It's pretty much white. And add the highlight. And then hopefully that'll blend everything together nicely. Zoom out a little bit here. So I got to zoom out so you can see what I'm doing, and so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here, and I've got a light flesh tone here, pretty much white. And we're gonna put this on. We lost our iridescent, but we're gonna put that back when we go. We're gonna blend this back in. A little too much right there. Let's set up his nose. Take some of it off. Q-tip. Q-tip makes a good blending tool also. I'm gonna get his face done the way I want, and then I'll go back and do the hands. And I got a little too much on there, so we're gonna take it off with a Q-tip. Just blend it back in with that, like so. Slowly getting there. Probably can't see what I'm doing because it's so zoomed out, but I gotta zoom out so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just adding a little bit of this pale flesh tone to all those high spots that I want real bright. And I'm blending it back into the shadow just by tapping it. On the forehead, and I'll just draw this up this way to bring out that highlight. I'm just trying to get rid of any harsh delineation between the shadow and the highlights. I want to smooth it out. Some shading, but he's pretty flat as far as like what he looks like on screen. So I'm going to continue to do this because this will take a little while, and I'll come back and show you what I got. Okay, so I went and did his hands and everything. So now we kind of got this look going on him. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on. So we got kind of a really pale flesh thing going on. Some light shading. Now I'm just going to go back in with iridescent white real lightly and see how this looks. I don't want to lose the shading I did, but I want to give him a little bit of a shimmer. And kind of blend this in a little bit. So this is just straight iridescent white that I'm layering on. And I might do a little bit of blue. I'm looking at the reference and the skin is pretty cool. Just shift the color a little bit. As you can see, this iridescent white's transparent, so I'm maintaining the shading I did. It's very subtle, but it's there. Do a little bit on the hands. And now when I seal this, it'll still look kind of got a shimmer to it, but it won't be so obvious because the matte coat will kill some of the I guess metallic look. We don't want to look at metallic. So the skin does have a shimmer to it. It's just, you know, if you ever watch the show, it's got a pearlescent look to it. So now he's a little warm because of the colors I used to shade, which is fine. So I'm going to cool him down here a little bit. I'm going to do a little, I have some iridescent blue, I think. I thought I did. I do. A little iridescent blue. So I'm going to go with some iridescent blue. Let's see if I can't shift them to a little bit on the cooler side. Do this real light. So people ask me how long I let the oils dry. So what I do is on stuff like this, where it's on pretty light, I'll hit it with the hair dryer for about 5 minutes to dry the oils. And basically, I hit it with the hair dryer until the sheen of the oils is gone. Because they've got a certain sheen to them. So I just kind of hit it with the hair dryer till that sheen is gone. Now I have to be careful with this because it's a vinyl kit, but this one out of the 4 is the only one that's actually filled all the way. The only part that's not filled is this head. His arms are filled, so I don't have to worry really about warping him too much. His legs are solid. His upper torso, most of his torso is solid. And I did that, you know, because I was having the problem with getting him to stand. Okay, so we're kind of getting there. He's still a little warm. Which may be okay. Do a little blue. I may need to do a little purple on him. I got some iridescent purple. Thought the blue would shift them a little bit more, but it's not shifting as much as I would like. Try a little purple. It might give you kind of a cool, really kind of interesting effect. And you get one of those little paint stirrers, the vortex where you push it down and it stirs the paint. You need to get one of those. Okay, this is iridescent purple. I get it to come out of the bottle. He may not look really warm in camera, but in person he's pretty warm. What I may do is do this and then seal it, and then mist on some clear blue. Actually, the purple seems to be doing what I want to do. So maybe purple was the color I needed. Yeah, that's looking really good now. So I'm gonna hit this pretty good with the hairdryer, let it dry really well, and then I'll seal it because I got quite a bit of paint on here, and I don't want it to craze on me. Like when the paint crazes on me, it's because I'm just going too fast and I'm putting too much paint on at a time that kind of activates the paint. I may go back in after this with the white. But we're getting there. That's actually pretty close. I think I could cool them down just a little bit more. I'm gonna go back to the white a little bit. I think the white's got a little warmth to it. It seems to be warming it up a little bit for some reason. I'm inclined to take this white and put a drop of semi-transparent cool number 1 in it. Number 2. I'm going to put a drop of semi-transparent cool number 2 in here. In with the iridescent white. So I just put 1 drop in. And then put another drop in. Actually, this is doing pretty good right here. I'm going to stick with this and layer it up slowly. Okay, actually I think it looks pretty damn good right there in his face. I'm going to leave that. So I'll just dry, I'll seal it and see what we got. So the shading is very, very subtle on him. It's not like it's on the Forge or Wharf, but I think the skin is looking pretty good. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna seal it, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so after sealing him, I think he looks pretty damn good. Let's see if I can show you here better. Bring my exposure down. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It's really hard to see in camera, but there's some real nice subtle shading going on there. He's cool in tone overall with some warm shadows. So it looks good. And his skin's got a little bit of sheen to it. which I think is really good. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to base coat the hair in black. His hair is pretty much black. And then his eyebrows are actually kind of the same color as skin tone. So I'm going to mix up like a, I don't know, it's like they put makeup over his eyebrows. So what I probably should have done, I didn't think about it, is I probably should have painted his eyebrows first and then done all this stuff on top of them. But so we'll paint those kind of a color to match his skin. And then we'll do his eyes, but he's pretty close. Okay, so I painted the hair black, and for the eyebrows, it's gonna be real hard to see because it's pretty light. Because it's light in general with his makeup. I basically just did a black wash over the eyebrows to help give him a little separation from the face. Actually, you can see pretty good there. So yeah, so it's just looking at the reference. I just did a little black wash over him to kind of give him darken him a little bit from the face. I think it looks pretty good. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and work on the eyes, and I'll have to do that again off camera because I can't show you while I'm working up close. We're going to base coat them in a light gray, and then go in and paint them yellow with the black iris. So I think after the eyes, I think he's pretty much done. I might dry brush his hair just a hair. Hair because I never like just solid black hair, so I may go in there and just do a little touch of something to give it some definition. Alrighty, well, it took me about 4 hours to get his portrait done, but Data is done and he looks really good, I think. So for the eyes, so you get this in here a little bit better. I just went in there and base coated them with kind of like an off-white, put in some yellow decals. And then, hold on. And the references, he's got like really pink, dark pink kind of waterline. So we did that. Add a little bit of color to his lips, and he's done. So next we're going to work on Riker. So I got to kind of clean up from Data, and then we'll work on Riker. Okay, so for Riker, I'm not going to record a whole lot of this. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. So I went in, I base coated with Pale Flesh from GarageKits.us. Now I'm going with my oils, and I'm using Shadow Flesh to kind of bring out the shape of his face and the hands. So that's where we are now. And now I'm going to go back to so I got my palette of all my oils I've been using the past few days. I'm going to go back to his skin is kind of peachy, so I'm going to probably use this tone right here and kind of maybe do an overall little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit on this flat brush. So I'm using this tone right here. Let's put my flat brush. I gotta come into my lap here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna start tapping this in, kind of all over his face. And blend that back up into the shadows. I made his eye sockets pretty dark. I think part of the sculpt is he's got this look of, it's like his expression's a little off to me. I'm not sure what it is. It's hard to put my finger on it as far as like, it looks like him, but it's, I don't know, he looks worried or something. So I'm going to see if I can fix it with paint a little bit. This right here is going to be pretty close to what I want for his overall skin tone. So I'm kind of doing this all over. It's a little different than what I've done in the past. I'm going to go to the shadows a little bit. All these oils have dried over the past day or so, so they're a little maybe a little too dry. But I don't want to really add any turpentine or mineral spirits to, because I don't get too wet. Right now it's pretty peachy, but we're gonna tone it down a little bit. Because that's kind of where we are on the face now. That's looking pretty good. The more I work on him, the better, the more he looks like we're supposed to. So that's kind of like my mid-tone and shadow values there, I think. I'm going to go in with the highlight and do that. I'm going to do this on the hands and we'll come back. All right, so I got the skin tones pretty close to where I want. So now I'm going in and base coating the hair. And now we're starting to look like Riker a little bit. So much closer. So the more we get done, the closer he looks. I really accentuated his jawline and his eye sockets to kind of give him more of a chiseled face compared to what was on the sculpt. And it's that's helped a lot. So I'm just going to keep base coating the hair. This is a very dark brown. I mix some black in with black and burnt umber to start with a dark brown, and then we'll go and dry brush and add a bunch of highlights and stuff. Okay, and with that, I got both portraits done. I think Riker looks okay. Again, I think the sculpt is a little off. I think what's bugging me about him is that he has a worried look on his face. There's certain aspects of the sculpt that look like him and other aspects that don't look like him. So I think it's just, I think what's throwing me off is really his eyebrows. So it's just, he's kind of got this look of worrisome on him, but other than that, he looks pretty good and pretty happy with everything. Added a few little just kind of random gray hairs in his beard, just like my reference. His top of his hair doesn't have any gray in it at all, so I just kind of highlighted it with some lighter shades of brown. And then Data looks spot on. He looks freaking awesome. So out of the four, the two best sculpts are Data and Worf. They spot on sculpts, like just like him. Geordi, I would say, is about 95% there. And Riker, I'd say he's about 75% there as far as the sculpt goes. But I'm happy with it. I think it looks good. Once we get all the suits painted and everything, they'll look really nice. So I'm going to call this work in progress done. Riker's got blue eyes. And we did all the, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. It's hard on 1/6 scale. It's hard to zoom in and see stuff. Let's see here. Maybe you can see it there. And I had to reduce my exposure on my camera because it just wants to way overexpose it. So I come in and do that. But it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I think this is about as good as I'm going to get it. And then that's, like I said, Data's like, he's spot on. Looks really amazing. So that's it for this work in progress. I didn't show a whole lot of doing a whole lot of Riker because, again, I just want to kind of get painting. But it's the same process with the oils, just going in and doing different shades of shadow and highlighting and all that stuff. The lips, I put a nice little kind of pink rouge on them. They look great. The eyes look really good. So there we go. So the next work in progress will probably be working on some of the suits. And I'm going to try to print the bases this weekend and get those going. Because I got to print 4 bases. It'll take me, I think, I have to figure out the quickest way to do it to reduce costs for my client. But there you go. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.